Okay, so 2.5, we're going to do what we've been doing, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing radical expressions. We're just going to go a little bit higher on the index number. There we go. Had the wrong thing open. Okay, so here we go. Remember, when we're adding and subtracting, we have to have like radicals. So right now it looks like number 1 is not like, but remember, negative 45, radical 45 breaks down to radical 9 times radical 5, which simplifies to 3 root 5. Looking better. Plus the x squared simplifies, square root of x squared is x. Remember, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So what we end up with here is x root 5 minus 3x root 5. So we have 1x root 5 minus 3x root 5, which is negative 2x root 5. Okay? Now, don't jump into that 16 and go, oh, it's 4, because pay attention that it's a cube root. So remember, cube root of 16, I'm going to do my work off to the side just to save space. Cube root of 16 breaks down to the cube root of 8 times the cube root of 2, which gives me 2 cube root of 2. 54, remember that breaks down cube root of 27 times the cube root of 2, which ends up being 3 cube root of 2. Now, this and this are simplified, but remember we got to pay attention to these numbers out here. So we have 2 times 2, which is 4 times the cube root of radical 2. Then we have negative 5 times 3, which is negative 15 cube root of radical 2, plus 1 cube root of radical 2, plus just a radical 5. So square root of 5. So these 3 can be joined together. 4 plus 1 is 5, minus 15 is negative 10, cube root of 2, plus the square root of 5. So you just got to take your time, step by step, not a big deal. Okay, what we've been doing, any, outie, outie. So on the outside we have 5. And then we have the cube root of negative 12 times 18, which is negative 216. We have a to the first, a to the second, which is a to the third, b to the fourth, b to the second, which is b to the sixth. Now remember, they're going to come out in groups of 3 for the letters, and 216, we need to figure out what goes into 216. It's on our cube chart. And if you look, it's actually a perfect cube. Negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6 is negative 216. So that's going to come out as negative 6 times the 5, which gives us negative 30 on the outside. They come out in groups of 3, so 3 divided by 3 is 1. We don't have to put the 1, but we can. And with our b's, 6 divided by 3 is 2. And there's nothing left on the inside. The radical is completely gone. Over here, 6 times 4 is 24. On the inside, we have 8 times 2, which is 16. C3, C1, C4, D5, D3, D8. D to the 8th power. Square root of 16 is 4. It's going to come out and multiply by the 24. So 24 doubled is 48. Double that again is 96. We look at our C's. 4 divided by 2 is 2. We look at our D's. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And that's it. Okay, for quotients. For any real numbers, A and B not equal to 0, so you can't have that in the denominator, and the index has to be greater than 1. Okay? So remember, what we're going to do here is we're going to get rid of that radical 3. So we're going to multiply by radical 3 over radical 3 to rationalize the denominator, and get rid of it. On the top, we have 5 radical 3 And at the bottom we have radical 9, or just simply 3. And no, the 3 cannot cancel with the 3 inside the radical. You can't touch it. Only radicals can play with other radicals. That's our answer. Now this one is radical 5 over radical 28. Remember, we can bust that up. That's what we did right here. Okay? Now, we could multiply by radical 28, okay? And what we're going to get on the top is 5 times 28, radical of course. 5 times 8 is 40, carry the 4. That gives you 140 over 28. Not finished yet. We have to find out what perfect square root number goes into 140. So we look at our chart, and we find out the biggest number is 4. So it's radical 4 times radical 35 over 28. Well, the square root of 4 is 2, radical 35 over 28, and these can simplify, 1 and 14. So what we're left with is radical 35 over 14. Okay, so when we rationalize, think about what we need. They come out in groups of what number? So up here we have the cube root of 2 over the cube root of x squared. Remember, we're not just going to multiply by the x squared, radical x squared, because it's not square roots anymore. We need groups of 3. We have 2, which means we're going to multiply by the cube root of x to the first, top and bottom. What that gives us on the top is the cube root of 2x. On the bottom, we're going to get the cube root of x cubed, which is then going to simplify to simply x. So we made the 3, we put in a third one so they could come out in groups of 3. And no, again, the x cannot cancel with the x under the radical. Okay, 16. What you've got to think about cube root of 16 as 4 times 4, or 4 squared. And we need 3 of them to come out. So what we really need underneath there is we need 4 times 4 times 4. So what we're going to do is multiply the top and bottom by the cube root of 4. Because again, we already have 2 of them, we need a third one. On the top, we're going to get 2x times the cube root of 4. On the bottom, we're going to get 4. Okay? Or the cube root of 64, which is 4. And again, these numbers can simplify like so. And so on the top, we get x times the cube root of 4 over 2. There you go.